Hi, my name is Rachel and welcome to How to Connect to Goddess Maia. Maia is an Italian fertility goddess who actually gave her name to the month of May. Her name means growth or growing, and she is a goddess that governed in particular the growth of plants and living things. She can support you in tending to yourself, your values, and your well-being when you yourself are growing or growing something. So often when we are tending to something, we are giving. We're giving of ourselves. Sometimes we can overgive. Sometimes we are giving without alignment or authenticity. And so she can support you in tending to yourself, like I said, your well-being, your values, so that that growth is aligned, is strong, sustainable, also authentic and nourishing and nurturing for you, your values, and that which you wish to create and be in the world. And so here are my top 3 tips for connecting to her. My first tip is to connect to her in her sacred time. And this is May. So her name, Maia, gave us the word May. This month was sacred to her. It's a time when she was celebrated, so we have a sacred day for her. But this whole month, she was one of the goddesses that was worshipped to try and ensure in ancient Rome that the crops that were growing would ripen healthy. And towards the end of May, beginning of June, the harvest would start for some crops. So this time of ripening was hugely important. We are nature. We're not just working alongside nature, we are nature. And so when we have this time of growth and ripening out in nature, we also have that time reflected within ourselves. Often we set intentions or resolutions in the new year or in the early spring. So by now, how is that thing growing? She invites you to reflect, to check in with the growth, whether that's something you're growing within yourself, so perhaps a habit or an intention you have for your own well-being. It may be something external that you're growing, a relationship, a business, a project. This is kind of like your time with her to have, that PDR you would have at work, the personal development review. It's that check-in point to see how the growth is going. So, as gardeners, we'll do this as well. At this point, if something really isn't thriving, it isn't growing as we would wish it to, then we'll check, does it need more water? Is it getting too much water? Does it need more shade, less shade? Does it need moving? Does it need more of a feed perhaps to be given at this point to ensure that we later have a harvest? So this is a check-in point with Maia now that you may want to invite her in when you do your little PDR or review of whatever it is that you are working for. So you may want to have the kind of like these points throughout the year where you do check in, just to see how things are going. What do I need to change? What do I need to keep on doing? And she's a great goddess for helping you with that. My second tip is to work with her in combination with her consort, who is Vulcan. The Roman god Vulcan, also known as Vulcanus, he was the god of fire, but also the god of fertile soil. So that beautiful, rich soil that you get from a volcano, after it's erupted and it's left perhaps the ash or the lava flow, often like on the slopes of Etna, it has the most fertile soil. So they knew about this nourishment that he could offer. So the way that they work in combination, like I said, Maia was his consort. He was her consort. Either way, they were together. Cute couple. And the way that they work is he's the soil, that grounding, that foundation that is going to support this growth that is her. So he's like earth and fire, and she is like earth and air. So he's got that solidity, that burning fire, and then she's got that movement of the air, the growth, the coming forward, the moving forward. So if we move forward without any roots, without any solid foundation, that movement just floats away. It has nothing to hold on to. That holding on to perhaps is our self-understanding, our values, our kind of the way that we connect to self, who the self is. So by working with them together, I would encourage you, to work with them together, because they can help you with that solid rising, as in that rooted growth. So helping you to kind of keep on purpose, to keep aligned, and also keeping you perhaps in those nourishing soils, nurturing you while you are growing and moving forward. So you can only ripen if you are fed. Your thing can only ripen if it is fed. So work with them in combination. Her second sacred time is actually August. August the 23rd was Vulcanalia, which is the festival of Vulcan. And Maia was also celebrated at that time as his consort. So May and August are it's like this portal of growth, going from that ripening to the harvesting. So work with them together in whatever you're growing, whatever that journey is with self or something else. Bring both of them in and work with their different parts, earth and fire and earth and air. My third tip is actually some protocols, some ideas for activities to do with them, and connect to them both. Connect to them on their own or connect to them on as a unit. So the way that you can do this is, I really think of Vulcan as feet and Maia as hands. So a way to connect to that fertile earth, to remind ourselves to ground, to come back to our alignment, our values, our nourishment, is to get our feet reconnected to the earth. Like I said, we are nature. We're like a tree. We need our roots in the earth. A really good way to come back from the busyness, all the thoughts, the planning, the 100 things that you want to do in your head, is to bring your feet back down to the earth, barefoot upon the earth. You may also want to take your hands to the earth, both of them. That would be both connected. That would be for, full charging. Also, if you can't get your feet on the ground, is to use your hands to ground by touching things like a flower or a leaf, using that kind of tactile, the senses to reconnect yourself. So, if you find your mind stirring and going crazy, even just having like a plant pot next to you, just putting your hand near that flower, touching that flower, breathing with it. If you can do it in the morning by getting out with your feet on the ground, then you can do that as well. Another great thing is to reconnect to your own earth and your own tree or flower of self. So Vulcan can also represent the fertile soil of you. And so where are your roots? In your feet. So a really good way to ground yourself, to pause, to come back to center, to stop the whirling, to solidify and strengthen connection, is to touch your feet. So a really good way is to place your hands, your fingers, or in particular your thumb would be really good, right into the center of your foot. I don't think I can show you. I don't think I can get, let's see if I can get my foot high enough. So right there in the center of your foot, that pressure point there. So we have Maia and Vulcan connecting to there. This is my yoga session for the day. And that pressure point there, just holding it. Breathe, and that can ground you if you can't get to the earth or you can't connect to it. So anytime that you need that grounding, you can do that. Another way to do it with, if you were just connecting to Maia, you can't get hold of your feet for some reason, which is okay. I can't always get hold of my feet. Center of your palm there, just in the center. And again, just breathe deep. You may want to do this more throughout May. May is a really good point to reconnect with our bodies in that seasonal clock. May is a month for, like with Taurus, connecting to nature, our nature, with the physical body. So anytime you need calm or peace, center of the hand, just that slight pressure, or center of the lower foot. So I hope these are easy and accessible connecting points to Goddess Maia, and I hope that your connection to her guides you to deeper nourishment and joy during the month of May and throughout the year whenever you are connecting to her. Any questions, please do just pop them in the comments down below, or you can DM me on social media, Instagram or Facebook, Wolfwoman Rising, if you want to share or ask anything in private. You want to know more about the Roman gods and goddesses and ancient Roman religion practices and ways to connect to them. You can look at my book, Pantheon the Romans, or any of my other ancient Roman books or flower connection, nature connection books. I'll pop all the links down below. You know the way it goes. And sending many blessings to you, and may you have a nourishing, beautiful and medicinal